time to understand myself, how I do it, why I do it. Because if I'm being truthful, until I was asked the question, hey guys, and welcome back to Kay's Corner podcast. It has been a roller coaster, but that's exactly what life is, situational. It's like a roller coaster going up and going down, going slow, going smooth, shoots you back up, shoots you back down. Life is situational. And why I am saying that is because the past few weeks, my life has been up and down, and I needed to manage my time better. And here I am finally. So it's okay if you slip. Just when you're passionate about something and committed to something, make sure you just take a brain break and then hop right back on the wagon. So, this episode, a lot of people and individuals ask me, how do I do it? And for those that don't know me, you guys are probably like, how do you do what? And maybe how I use this microphone without plugging it in. No, I'm kidding. I do use this microphone, this little microphone that can attach to a shirt. You can hold it, but I pin it in here. So I know that this microphone, this blue one's not plugged in, but I do have a mic on this. But no, that's not why I'm on this episode today, to explain how I use this mic, but how do I go through life, through all my trials and tribulations, through all my roller coaster rides, through all of my past horrors and traumas, sadness and stress. How have I been able to get through it and continue through with my life? If I'm being quite frank with you, for the past, I would say 5 to 7 years, I've believed that I've been doing this all on my own. Now, physically, I may be actually moving my body and doing these things, but spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, I can start with the number one. I know I was holding up a number two as if I could make a hashtag sign for a number sign, but top one is God. That's how I've mentally, emotionally, and spiritually have been able to keep going. So that will never change. That is my top number one reason that I've continued through this lifetime. And a lot of people, no judgment whatsoever, a lot of people take the wrong path and they grow comfortable with that path. And it's very hard for you to get on the right path if you just assume as a human that you're capable of doing that. Because us humans are not capable of doing a lot because we are not God. So through the Lord, I have been able to grow a strength. I've been able to grow wisdom. And again, I'm still growing. I don't have it all figured out. And, I'm sure that there's a lot of different types of groups that watch me on social media, or you watch a lot of other people on social media. And, you know, you may get the jealous and envious ones, or like, oh, well, she has it all figured out. Like, I wonder how she has it all figured out. And then you have those group of people that's like, oh, I wish I could be like that. I wish I could be where she is, where he is. And then you have people that are like, sheesh, well, I'm just never going to get to where she or he is. And that's what really stinks about social media, because we have the chance to make it how we want. Just like on Halloween, we have the opportunity to dress up whoever and however we want. Same thing with social media. It's purely a mask. So although it looks like I have everything figured out, a lot of people don't and can't truly get to know or see my heart or see me as a person or as an individual, or most importantly, as a human. Because before I'm a woman, I'm a human. Before a man is a man, he's a human. We are all human. We all are going to continuously need the space and need the time to continue to grow and learn from the things that we've been through. And although I may not always have it figured out, or I may not have it all figured out right now, how do I do it? Well, I choose to have a plan B and a plan C. Maybe I don't have D, E, and F, but I definitely always have at least a plan B. I don't just jump into something. I may jump into something impulsively or fast, but in the mix of that, I always think about, okay, if this happens, what will I do? And sometimes that's not always healthy. You know, oh, if this were to happen, what would I do? I do put my trust into God, and that's why I don't think that I live such a stressful life. And that's why I get the question of, how do you do it? How do you pay rent but you're still able to go on vacation? How have you been through all of this but you can still love unconditionally? You can still have empathy for other people. You can still have compassion for other people. Well, the truth is I remember who I am, and I'm a human. And I know that even though my story may be tough, that every other person has their own story. And as I continue to get older, I realize that, as I was younger, I believed that I was the only one going through what I was going through. And I just didn't believe that anyone could truly understand me. But as I continued to get older, I did have a huge understanding as I continued to conversate and communicate with other people around me that, you know what? Other people go through things too. So let me not feel bad for myself all the time or play victim all the time. Let's have a plan B to see what we can do to make this better. Okay? And again, I may be making this sound all sweet and all easy and like it's this nice and smooth ride. I've had to fall a few times. I've had to shrivel up in my bed a few times for a couple weeks. I mean, even my landlord started realizing how much I was door dashing every single day, and I got a text like, "Hey, you okay?" So I do have my times where I slip and I feel like I'm crumbling. But then I remember who I am, and how do I do that? How do I remember who I am? Well, it starts with this beautiful thing right here. It starts with the Bible. Now, when I told you God is my foundation, I don't just talk to him. I learn about him. I grow with him. I grow from him. This is top number one. And although I may not open this all the time, I talk to my best friend all the time. So this is number one. This gives me peace. I just so happen to open the Bible every single time I'm going through something, and it just so happens to be reading. I just so happen to be reading what I'm supposed to be reading. And I get a little peace from that. And then after I talk to God and I read something that makes me peaceful, well, then I go into this. And I have quite a few of them, journals. And I read them like books. And I find the trials and tribulations, the pains, the traumas, the horrors that I've been through all through my life. Well, instead of looking at them negatively, I look at them and I read them to understand them. Well, the famous question, well, why do you reread them? Why don't you just write and forget about it? Because I want to remember who I am, what my purpose is. Not why I've been through what I've been through, but to understand, okay, I went through these things to build my characteristic. I went through these things so that when someone that I love, it could be a friend or a family member, that they're going through something, well, it'll be easier to understand them. Or if I'm growing to be in a toxic friendship or relationship, that, through everything I've been through and everything that I understand through myself and understanding myself truly, what I'm capable of being around mentally. It could be your workspace. It could be a friendship. It could be a relationship with your family member or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband and your wife. It's hard to associate yourself in a friendship or relationship with whomever when you don't truly understand yourself. So the most important thing to me during my healing journey is actually understanding me. Well, a lot of people ask me why or how I'm able to do what I'm able to do, and it made me, and that's another reason why it took me so long to make this video. I needed time to understand myself, how I do it, why I do it. Because if I'm being truthful, until I was asked the question, I never took the second to sit back and be like, you know what, Keely? Let's take a second and remind yourself of how you are able to do this. And that was pretty cool. And people are like, oh, yeah, well, you should know yourself. A lot of people struggle to know themselves, and that's why they don't understand why their friendships or relationships don't work out. Now, I'm not saying it's fully on our behalf, or I'll specifically talk about me on my behalf, but I just know that I have some growing to do. I know that I have some healing to do. And that's the truth, that I'm still growing. I don't have it all figured out. I'm not God, and I'm also not at the age that I can say that I fully have it figured out. And that can be mentally, it could be spiritually, okay? It could be career wise, it could be financially, okay? Not everybody's gonna have everything figured out at once, because we are human, and that's why I take the time out to write or to read my Bible, because this is how I do it. And maybe not everyone aligns in that way, but that's how I get through. You know, my brain can't comprehend everything at once. All of the thoughts or all of the opportunities that I have in life, or family issues, or people who pass away, or bad news, or good news, and then you deal with everything. You'll have the best day ever. You'll have the best news that day. And then say a pile of things come in your way. And maybe it's just work stuff. Maybe someone passed away in your family. Maybe you have children. Maybe you're going through a divorce. Maybe you're getting bullied in school. There's so much that can come your way when you're trying to be strong, and you're trying to keep your faith, and you're trying to be positive. But that's what's so great about it. You are in charge. I'm in charge of my own life. I'm in control of my own life. So I did choose to be negative, and I did choose to ask constantly every single morning, why do I have to go to work? Why do I have to deal with this person? Why is this happening in my life? And my brain just wasn't computing. That's when I started rotting in my bed, or just literally just choosing to disregard my happiness. And then I sat back and it, I looked in the mirror. I said, I'm not doing well. And I didn't need anyone to see that I wasn't doing well. You know, my landlord just so happened to see how many DoorDashes I was getting ordered, or that I wasn't coming out of my room. And maybe it had to do with it being winter. I don't know if that seasonal depression thing is true, but I just realized that I wasn't doing well. And my brain wasn't cooperating with how I truly am. And how I truly am, I'm a jumping jelly bean. Now I wake up every morning saying, what's next? And maybe my mom drilled that into my head. Because anytime we had chores around the house and I would just sit down, she's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm done. She's like, ask me what's next. It could be even at your job. You can roll that over into your job. What's next? But when I wake up in the morning, there's no more of or or complaining. As the second I wake up, it's, let's get it. Let's do it. What's next? God, what do you have in store for me next? I'm ready. I'm able. I'm confident. I also know that I'm human. So I also know that I'm going to have days where I feel like the weight of this world is on my shoulders or on my chest, where I've piled on too much on my plate. And guess what I do? I get to share this through my podcast, which is a way for me to let it off my chest and see if somebody can relate to it. Or the simple fact of just breaking it down, what's important, what I'm capable of, what I'm able to do, what's a priority, what's out of my control, what's in my control. For any human, even for a man, I know a couple of men who write in a journal or type on their computer because they think writing's too feminine, or or their finger starts hurting. I get it. But for any human to think that their brain is capable or able to process all of the horrors, all of the traumas, all of the pains, all of the stress, all of the anger, and ask why am I the way I am? Well, I asked the same question, but I wrote it down in here. I asked myself, why do you say the things you do about yourself? Or why do you mock the people that you do? Why do you do what you do? Why do you put too much on your plate to the point where you just drive yourself to insanity? Why do you lower your standards? And it doesn't have to be lowering your standards in any way that people think. There's many ways of lowering your standards, but for me, lowering my standards in the way of sacrificing my peace and happiness for other people. That could be for family, it could be for friends, it could be for a boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband. No one should have to sacrifice their happiness or peace for somebody else. You should be able to work on that and grow together. Or if somebody's not capable of working on it, learning and growing with you, then you have to be okay with choosing yourself. You have to be okay with it. And once I started breaking that down to myself, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do what I'm able and capable of doing, what I can do that's in my control. And once I started breaking it down and writing it down, it made things easier in my head. And people may not be the same. Some people work out to kind of process it through, but it's still like, to me, I just can't process it all. I can't. So the ones that have been asking me how I'm able to do it, or how I'm able to do it, I break things down. And once I started breaking things down, it made my life easier. Once I started accepting that life is situational, we hear the saying, don't cry over spilt milk. That goes for a flat tire too. I used to be in that time of me being down and out. I could get a flat tire and I'm literally losing my mind. Like, why does this have to happen to me? I have the worst luck. And it was just like pure negative. It was negative. And I started realizing it was rubbing into my relationships, or it was rubbing into my friendships. And I just realized, you know what? No one owes me anything and I don't owe anyone anything. So it's just because I lowered my standards to sacrifice my peace or happiness, I was expecting other people to do that for me too. Until I I met a few people that were like, you know what? I don't have to put up with this. You know what? I was like, after I took that time to myself to realize that just in my heart that I don't owe that to anyone, sacrificing my peace or my happiness. I don't owe that to anybody. And no one owes that to me. That's what also made me start writing in my book and breaking down, like, okay, how can we make this better, Kaylee? Instead of always worrying how other people can be better to you, how can you be better to yourself? And I said, okay, now we're talking. Instead of expecting that from other people, but to kind of have that standard for yourself of choosing yourself. Not in a humble way, you start feeling a power that you've never felt before. Like, wow, you have that understanding that you're in control of your own life. And we allow people to dictate our happiness, whether it's a toxic relationship or a friend that envies or who is jealous, or a family member who's a perfectionist that makes you feel like nothing you do is good enough. Oh, well, I didn't know that you were God. The only person that can try to tell me something about myself is God. Unless it's good criticism. I'm not saying don't take advice or don't, but also when you just know yourself and know what you're able to do in this life and what you're capable of doing in this life, you start feeling this power of where you don't feel obligated to put up with someone's stuff, or you don't feel obligated to have certain thoughts in your head. I mean, to the point of my healing journey, to the point where I feel like in my heart that I've healed from even trust issues. Every bad thing, every bad thought that was ever in my head, I've let go because it wasn't worth driving me to insanity. And some people get comfortable with that depression and that anxiety and that constant, Oh, what if, what if, what if? What if what? What if you put your trust into God? What if you put your trust into yourself? If you spent enough time with yourself and understood yourself the way that I've been sitting, and I mean this humbly only because I've been asked this question forever, and although I still don't have it figured out, I take the time out to put myself first. And like I said, I'm only human, so I do slip. I do fall victim and indulge into things that I shouldn't be, or indulging into these bad thoughts or negative thoughts, or lowering my standards of happiness and peace just to please somebody else, whether it's your job or a family member or a significant other. So how I've done it, I've talked to God a lot, a lot. I've opened up my Bible a lot, and although I haven't read the whole thing, when I do open it, it has answers that I've been looking for my whole 23 years of living. Or I'll read back into journals from 2020, 2019, and not feel bad for what I've been through, but to pat myself on the back and be proud. To be like, you know what? You've grown a lot. You've seen a lot. You've been through a lot, but most of all, you've grown a lot. Keep going, girl. And the day that you can tell yourself, keep going, and the day that you can look yourself in the mirror, and some people can call this crazy, but I do it all the time. Even when I'm having a bad day, I look myself in the mirror. I said, let's do this. You got this. Once you have that confidence, and I had that confidence through my Lord and Savior, once you have that confidence to look in your mirror, and people call it cocky, it's not. You should know the fine line between cocky and confident. Being humble is different. And once you stop caring so much about all that negative stuff around you, and you know, people ask me how I do it, but then people try to rain on my parade too. How many times I've had somebody sit in my face and try to rain on my parade, and I've watched myself prosper because I'm God's child, but I've watched myself prosper before their eyes, like, and them shocked. And this could be months down the road. That people, I have a past. Everybody has a past. Everybody slips. Everybody falls, but everybody gets back up if you choose to. I've had people try to prey on my downfall, try to tell me about my downfall, tell me about myself. And I just continued to watch myself elevate. And there was times where I've almost been convinced and believed them. So I guess through all of this time and looking back and reading in my journals, or even rereading yesterday's journal entry, and just reminding myself of how far I've come as a person. And I can care less about a million people telling me that. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful to be reminded when I forget to remind myself. But it's not something that I need. It's not something that anyone needs. Once you have that confidence and that purpose, once you know your purpose in this life, everything will come easily. I don't wake up. There's seconds in my day where I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta pay rent. But I pay it, I pay my bills, and then I'm stress free. I'm still gonna go on this vacation because mentally, I deserve it. Mentally, I can afford it. And I don't sit every day and stress about money. I don't sit every day and stress about a relationship. If I'm in a relationship or I have a friendship, there should be no reason why it's stressful. If it's stressful, I'm sacrificing my peace and happiness. I am lowering my standard, and I am not obligated to do that. So I learned boundaries. I learned what I was able and capable of putting up with and dealing, and what I don't have to put up with. I started putting myself first. And how I did that is I started to understand myself. I stopped running and hiding from my past traumas and horrors, and I didn't sulk in it, but I learned from it. I accepted it. I understood it. And I used it to my advantage of being where I am today. And I'm so thankful that I can sit here and I can share it and open up with you guys about it. I have people that message me on how I do it and actually sit there and listen to the advice, and I pray just the way I take wise advice, that anyone who's watching this is able to also take this wise advice, because life is not easy, but life is situational, and the ball is in our court. We get to choose how we live our life. We can choose to wake up in a negative mindset every day. We can choose to be surrounded around negative people or a negative work environment. You are not obligated. But once we're too scared to see what else is out there and see what we're truly capable of or see what our value is high of, we can't get comfortable with that side. You have to venture out. Nothing or no one is worth sacrificing your peace or your happiness. You don't owe that to anybody. So once I realized what I'm capable of, my value of me as a person, my personality, my characteristics, my work ethics, once you realize who you are as a person, you almost look at life like a fishbowl. You see right through people. You see right through things and situations. And you're able to sit back and break it down in a healthy manner. So if you are someone who's struggling in a negative mindset or struggling in a negative relationship or friendship, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But just know the ball is in your court. It starts somewhere. For me, it started writing in a book, just journaling, writing down my thoughts, writing down my feelings, writing down what bothers me. Once you write down what bothers you or what makes you happy, you see what you're dealing with. It could be in a work environment, it could be with a family member, it could be with a friend, it could be simply between you and yourself. The biggest blockage in your life can potentially be yourself. You have to choose yourself. I choose myself every day that I wake up. And sometimes the truth is ugly. Sometimes I'd rather turn my head. I don't want to see the truth. But also, I want to choose myself. So once the truth lies in front of me, there's nothing I can do about it. And regardless, to me, God's going to rip it out of my life. So I might as well just be like, okay, I give it up. I'm going to put myself first because I know I need to put myself first in order to continue to move forward and continue through with my plan. I'm a human with a goal, always. I have a goal at all times. I have a plan at all times. That's my purpose, is to always have a goal. To always have a goal, to always know my purpose, and to always continue forward. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to sit on my little private rock or my private island for a couple days and take a break. I'll take a break from social media for a couple days, especially when I'm reading negative things or things that are hurting my feelings. We can't control social media. The algorithms are going. I do little things like that too. I'll deactivate my social media for a couple days. I'll turn my phone off for a couple hours and read a book or read my Bible or write in my journal. I'll go on a drive. I'll go sit on the beach rather than sitting in my own misery or making posts in negative ways. That's another thing that stinks about social media in this generation, is that social media takes a hold on a lot of people, grown or young. It takes a hold. The right things are right in front of our face. It could be a negative post, it could be a sad post. Spend time with yourself. Don't allow things on social media or negative people to feed into your negative, bad thoughts. Spend time with yourself. Reread your thoughts so you can see when you're being negative, if you're being negative, when you can be more positive. It's been a journey for me and I'm still going through it. So for me to sit here and kind of sugarcoat it just wouldn't be right. But for me to encourage, for me to share the things that I do to get through, a couple other things, I have a planner. When I'm already dealing with my own thoughts in my head, and then I have, appointments, and I have going to see my grandparents and graduation parties. That gets too much for me too. And it distracts me from, what's or how to kind of cope and break things down. So I write in my journal. I have a planner. I have a calendar where I write everything in here. I read books that open my mind up to want to grow more in life, financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. This one I'm reading by Russ. It's the rapper Russ. I love his music. Russ, if you ever watch this podcast, just know that I literally love your music and I love your book so much. This book is called It Was You All Along, and it literally talks about just holding yourself back and how to just know boundaries and to have standards and to realize, what you're going through and then break it down for yourself. It's a great book. You guys should totally read it. But just reading any book that opens your mind and potentially allows you to grow in all different aspects of your life. It's amazing. I even have another thing I have. Um, Instead of scrolling through TikTok, sometimes I'll study Bible verses. And how I do that is I write them on these little booklets, and I have a bunch of different colors. This one's pink and yellow. I have a bunch more of them. And I distract myself in a more positive way rather than feeling like I'm obligated to go out and party or, scroll through TikTok for 3 hours. These are just more healthy and more productive ways of understanding myself and where I come from and my purpose, my foundation. You're just always reminding yourself of what you're worth, what your value is, what you deserve in this life, what you're capable of. Never grow comfortable with, you can even have people chirping in your ear telling you who you are. You know, spend time with yourself. I spend a lot of time with myself, and I sometimes feel like I don't fully take advantage of that or fully appreciate it. Um, and again, this whole entire podcast is meant to getting to know me, and my life has been very hard, and I have sat and sulked and felt bad for myself and victimized myself. And although I've been through a lot of people go through a lot. So instead of me being miserable or negative, I my purpose is I want to find a way that we can all work together as a team, that we can all grow and learn together as a team. And not that we're obligated for that, but that's why we're here on this earth. How can we help each other grow? I don't want people to ever sit behind my social media and think that I have it all figured out or that life is so easy. And again, that's what stinks about social media. No one truly knows your heart or truly know what you go through on a day-to-day basis. Even filthy rich people or influencers, we are all human. And we can make it look all great on social media or out in public real fast if you're meeting someone for a couple minutes or you met someone at the bar. Never truly know what someone's going through. So instead of asking, oh, how does she do it? Or why does she do it? It's okay to ask how you do it, or, you know, but more so, don't sit on that. Just figure out what you want in life. Figure out what upsets you, how you can break that down. Again, these are a few ways that I cope and I break things down for myself so that I'm able to accomplish things. I check things off. I like to write things down. I like to be organized, you know, and sometimes it's distracting. I just always have myself so occupied. But at the same time, we need to take that time to ourselves or spend time with the people or things that make us happy or allow us to be positive and allow us to be ourselves and helps to embrace, you know, what embrace how you've grown in your life. I don't think that we have an obligation to lower our standard to the point where we're sacrificing our peace or our happiness for things or people around us. And I think that's a huge reason why I've been resentful or I've been so hard or I've been depressed or miserable, was just because I put that obligation on myself that I owe my happiness or peace. So I think that's when I really started to understand myself and what I want and need in my life, is when I stopped sacrificing my happiness or my peace for other people or other things. And it allowed me to want to do more for myself. And that doesn't mean spending a lot of money, but do more for myself in the ways of understanding and accepting what I've been through in my life and wanting better for myself and wanting better for my future husband and my future family, my kids, my siblings, just really, really being the best person that I can be and and encouraging myself to know that I will always get to where I need or want to be in life in a very humble way. And anybody who is with me, I'm going to just be there with them, not even to teach them, just to grow with them and just be there with them, and just to watch the flowers grow. That's really what it comes down to. It's a beautiful thing. Life can be so beautiful. People can be so beautiful. And I used to compare if I got hurt by a friend or in a past relationship or by my parents, and just assuming that the whole world is like that. That's what I used to do, and it made me look at the world like so miserably. It will really make somebody go crazy and be miserable with those miserable thoughts. And I just think that this world has so much potential. People have so much potential. And if people just put themselves first and understand themselves first before trying to understand a situation and understand another person, to understand what you've been through, to understand yourself, to understand your purpose and your value in this life and what you're actually capable of, rather than just being comfortable or normalizing the few things that you are doing in life right now. Always embrace yourself, encourage yourself. Because the truth is we can have 1,000,001 people telling us and encouraging us, but really it always lies within us. So put yourself first. Love yourself. Understand, even my car accident that I've been through or past relationships, I hurry up to bury them. I don't even want to understand my feelings. I'm just like, all right, let's get over it. Let's run away from that thought. But be there in that moment with that thought. Truly understand how you feel. And that's why I'm happy I have written in my books, because there's things that I've chosen to just bury, and never want to redig up. But the truth is, it will always be dug back up. So you might as well deal with it then and there. Because say the wrong person triggers you, or the work environment triggers you. Pew! I'm telling you, it's true. Don't let it build up. Don't bury too much, because it does resurface. And for me, I guess why and how I choose to break things down is because I want my future to be great. I want every day that I wake up to be great. I want the smile to remain on my face, and to know that I have the power and the control over my happiness, over my peace. Be you. Open up to yourself. Be okay with that time alone. I used to not be able to just spend time alone with myself. I just always had to be distracted, always had to be doing something. But now that I actually take the time out and just kind of have me and me time, it's so cool when I experience it's like a video game. I'm like unlocking a new level. It's like, whoa, I'm capable of that. It's pretty cool. Oh, I don't have to sacrifice my peace and love, or peace and happiness and love. Well, that's pretty cool. Or I'm capable of being a full-time student, full-time work, traveling all at once. Well, that's pretty cool. It's so cool knowing about yourself, learning about yourself, seeing what you're capable of, patting yourself on the back, looking back at all of the bad, the good, and just seeing how you've elevated. It's such a beautiful, cool feeling. The feeling of just being miserable and waking up every day, I'm not doing enough, I'm not enough. Oh, how am I going to get this money? No, let's get this money. Let's do it. I have also a huge whiteboard that I'm even looking at in front of my face. I write everything down. Okay, podcast 7. What are we writing about? Dope. Let's do it. Set it up. Just do it. I had to tell myself, because for the past few weeks I've been so distracted. I'm like, okay, I have time. So instead of watching a movie or gallivanting around or putting other people before me, I want to do what I'm passionate about. I want to record episode 7. So I know sometimes I put too much on my plate, like I said, and then I write it down. I'm like, okay, Kaylee, like you got to scratch this off or reschedule this. And then I'm like, all right. I break everything down. I time manage. And I'm like, it's good. It's good when I break it down. It's good when I take a step back and sit on my pile of olives, just like Jesus did when he was here. I'm like, all right, let's chill out and let's break it down. What do we need to do? What is in my control? And so this is what I do. I have a planner calendar book. I'll schedule 3 weeks ahead just so I can remember rather than panicking last minute. I have journals that I write in, my Bible that I highlight and I write in just so I can go back to the Bible verses that make me feel better. I'll write them down so I memorize these Bible verses that make me feel better and remind me of who I am, God's child, and all my passions and everything I've worked for and how much I adore my time with myself, my time with my family. It's an amazing feeling. So, everybody that is able to watch this video and finish through with the whole thing, keep going. You got this. Whatever you're doing in life, whatever you dream of doing, opening your own business, write down that name of your business, go get your LLC, and just one step at a time. Remember who you are, remember your purpose, remember how much you've been through, good and bad. Embrace even the bad things that happen. Even when I get a flat tire, I'm like, "Ooh, let's do this." You know, keep that positive attitude, and it's not so easy when you're constantly being comfortable with that negative mindset. And don't get me wrong, I am only human, so I have my days where I'm negative. I have my days where I slip up. I have my days when I'm procrastinating. I'm only human. You're only human. So don't think that you have it all figured out. I used to always think that I had it all figured out, and it honestly made me more stressed out because I knew in the back of my head that I didn't have it all figured out. Even on social media, you guys may think that I have it all figured out. I'm only human. We are all the same. We all have a goal. We all have a dream. And my best way is breaking it down on a whiteboard or breaking it down in a planner or a journal or just spending some time with myself. Sometimes I just sit on these chairs and just sit here and listen to my AC blow in my ear. Just take a break, just relax. And my biggest piece of advice, don't ever feel obligated to sacrifice your happiness or your peace for somebody or something else. Always put yourself first. Have boundaries. Have standards. Don't have 1,000,001 expectations, but have standards and boundaries for yourself. Even between you and you, you can have boundaries and standards for other people and environments, but between you and you, have boundaries. Have standards for yourself. And that is my way of coping and dealing and and how I keep swimming and just keep doing. I have a vision board that motivated me in January. I've been able to almost cross everything off of it, and I just continue to remind myself that you can do it. And I used to have that expectation or feel like I need somebody else to constantly remind me like, let's go, let's go, let's go. But I already know that I was born with that strength and that confidence. And once I realized that, that's how I keep going. And I genuinely go crazy when I stress or when I get overwhelmed or when I get mad or resentful or I hold on to the past. It just doesn't do good for me. And a lot of people can be comfortable with that or continue to ask themselves, why am I like this? Why am I the way I am? Why do I react to things this way? Well, let's talk about it. Let's write about it. Let's figure it out, you and you. If you guys ever need help or advice, please feel free to DM me or message me. But between you and you, it's between you and you. No one else knows truly how you feel. You can feel like you vented to your friends, but I guarantee you hide some things from them. You may think that you open up to your siblings, but I'm sure you hide some things from them. So what's the best way to be honest, or who is the best person to be honest with? You. And once I started realizing, let's be honest, Kaylee, or even tried hiding from God, like not even being honest when I'm praying, as if He can't see everything that I'm doing. It's like hiding naked behind a leaf. You can't hide. Same from you. You cannot hide from yourself. It will always resurface, whether it's through a person, through an environment, something or someone that triggers you. It's always going to resurface and you're going to have to face it. So when's the best time to face it? Dead on. That was my biggest problem. I tried running from everything, but yet trying to be in control of everything. So thank you, everybody who continues to ride this journey with me. Thank you to everybody that encourages me and supports me. I want to encourage and support you guys 10 times more. I am so passionate about doing this, and Just like I love learning about my guests or the people that support or encourage me, I want you guys to learn about me too and learn how I go through this life and learn about the trials and tribulations I've been through. We are all human. We all have feelings. We all have emotions. We all deal with things differently. This is how I deal with it, and I hope that this helps those who are going through things or feel like they're alone. Just keep going. You got this. You got this. And please remind yourself every day of just how much you've grown and how much you are capable of, and be excited to wake up every day to I find out something new in general or something new about myself every single day. And I'll write about it so I remember it, so I could share it with my future kids, with my siblings, with my friends, anybody who I love and care about, you guys. Just embrace it. Embrace everything that you go through. And again, I'm human. I'm not trying to sugarcoat any of this. There's days where I want to rip my hair out. But then I sleep on it and I wake up the next day like, let's do it. Let's get back to it. So these are words of wisdom. These are words of encouragement, words of confidence. Just keep going. Keep going, and one thing and one step at a time. Don't fill your plate up too much. Do what you can. Do what you're in control of. Do what you are able and capable of doing. And just take it easy on yourselves. So thank you for stopping in for episode 7 here on Kay's Corner podcast. I can't wait to drop this episode, and I can't wait to record episode 8 of Kay's Corners podcast. Thank you all for watching. Please subscribe and comment down below any ideas or topics that you would like me to talk about. Thank you for all your support, and see you next time.